Welcome to the Cookbook, where you'll learn about the real recipes behind building a business. Entrepreneurship doesn't look the same for everyone, and neither does success. You'll hear from entrepreneurs of all kinds, tech founders, coaches, creatives, and spiritual entrepreneurs. People who've taken very different paths and learned powerful lessons along the way. We talk about the wins, the missteps, and the moments who shaped who they are today. I'm Iris Goldfeder, and this is the Cookbook. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder. I'm super excited for my guest today. It's so funny, we started talking, actually we're doing a pre-call for her to be a guest, and then you all know that I do marketing. Long story short, she became a client also, which is just, I think like serendipity, but her story is like crazy fascinating. And her business is Sena Sea, and it's wild caught Alaskan seafood. And I have a freaking subscription, and I, in the Midwest, get to eat fresh fish every week, and it is amazing. But anyway, I'm digressing. Let's bring on Sena and hear her story. Before I start, don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. And here we go. Hey there.
Hey, thanks for having me. And yeah, it's super fun since now we get to work together too.
I know, it's so funny. And the food is like, and I was just telling you, the seafood is like amazing. It's just like stupid good. And there's another company that I bought from last year that I literally threw all of their fish out because it didn't defrost right. It didn't taste right. And yours is anything I eat. Rockfish, sable, salmon, like the salmon I think there were like 2 6-ounce portions. And I actually had both of them because I was like 6 ounces isn't going to be enough. So I had like more. And I can't get enough of it. So.
Oh man. Well, I love that because our fish kind of speaks for itself. So I love to get it in people's hands. And I'm super excited or just happy that you get to eat fish now every day or every week, I should say.
I know it excites me because, I'm a Long Island girl and we used to get fresh fish right off the boat. And now I'm like landlocked. So. Right.
And that's one of our big things is like, there's a lot of people out there that would love to have great fish and it's just hard to find. It's not available. And so that's one of our kind of reasons why we started doing this is we have the most amazing wild Alaskan fish in our freezer and we get to enjoy. And we're just trying to share the bounty, get it direct to people's doors, which when we started 10 years ago was kind of an out there idea, like we're shipping fish in the mail, we UPS it to your door. And 10 years ago in 2015, it was like, what? You're going to, send fish in the mail? That's so weird. And, times have changed and people get a ton of food, deliveries to your door and things like that. So I feel like now it's not such a crazy idea. And I'm glad we started before, so by COVID and when people started shipping to their door and stuff like that, we had that aspect under control because it did take several years to figure out how to get frozen fish to people's doors still frozen. That's a hard thing.
Yeah. Well, you put way more than enough dry ice in there. I like to leave it outside, right? I just like take the bag and leave it outside.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Because I always forget that it's gas, and I'm like, can I store it? I actually was like, can I store this somewhere? And they're like, no, you'll die. I was like, okay. Is it like frozen nitrogen or something? Or
yeah, it's like frozen CO2 gas, and so it just sublimates. So that's just going from a solid to a gas. But you can put it, if you put it in like a thing of water, then you have you can pretend you're a witch and you have it makes the steamy, looks like fog.
That is so cool.
And put it in a cauldron for Halloween.
That is amazing. I'm going to do that. And when my wife comes home from work, I'm going to be like, ooh, I'm doing this.
I know it's way too fun.
It's awesome.
Just don't touch it with your hands. Just
no.
Too cold.
So, but it'll melt in the water.
Yeah. Yeah. It like becomes a gas, and then that's why it bubbles up through the water. So,
That
yeah.
is so freaking amazing. Oh my God. I'm so doing that. When is my next shipment? I think it's coming soon. Because I think I'm like every 3 months or something. But anyway, the food is amazing. And this wasn't supposed to be a commercial, but I can't help it because I'm telling you, it is like for me to be able to have salmon again, for me to be able to have, and it's fresh. It's like that's the other thing. You can taste like the freshness,
Yeah.
it's just so good. And so you do it with the dry ice, but then
Gel
the
packs.
packaging. Yeah. Well, no, not the gel packs. The
Oh,
actual,
the sustainable foam.
yeah, the sustainable foam is like cornstarch or something. So you could just like
Mhm.
put water on it and it'll disappear. If the dog eats it, it's not going to die.
Right. Yeah.
Because my dog might have gotten to a piece and I was like, oh my God, because she eats everything. And, she actually ate a packing peanut, one of the bad ones, like a while
Oh,
ago. And
yeah.
our vet was like, keep an eye on her. Like pretty,
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. My kids eat the foam. I mean, it's edible. It's cornstarch. So when they were young, when they would be at the warehouse and I showed them, oh, we have this cool sustainable foam. Look, you can take a bite out of it. It doesn't taste good. I don't recommend
no,
it.
it doesn't taste good. I wouldn't recommend because I
But
was
they
like,
think it's so fun. Once they drop by the warehouse and I'm packing, they'll grab it and take a bite out of it. And I'm like, I need to use this. I mean, I have to ship with it.
stop finding that. Well, and it's funny because in the summer, I would just take it out back or out front and just hit it with the hose and
Oh,
just watch
yeah.
it.
And it just
Yeah,
vanishes.
yeah,
That's
just like
cool.
that. So it was
Yeah,
pretty
it's
cool.
actually kind of like good for your plants, I think. It's sort of can be plant food.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Just break it up, put it on your plants,
advertise.
and
See,
then hit it with the hose.
we need to like advertise that too. So it's like good for you and the plants, or and your plants.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even done that angle yet.
I mean, well, marketing. So, but anyway, so this whole your whole story. I remember when I got the email and I read it, and they were talking about just you and your journey, and I was like, that is badass. Oh, like I definitely, because I'll get emails. They're like, how about this person on the podcast? And I'm like, no. But I read your story, and it was just so. I think it's pretty. It's amazing, and it's cool, and the fact that it's women, woman owned, and you're that woman, and you're just so damn smart. You're smart, and you have like this really great business. And Rich goes out and does the fishing, and you do all the other stuff, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
thank
So
you. It takes two. I mean, it's hard work to catch the fish. I mean, I always joke, I know why nobody else does what we do. It's really hard. But we catch the fish. So Rich catches the fish. We don't catch it all. We also have other fishermen that we know and trust. And we also process the fish. So we cut and freeze. And, we freeze for premium quality. So that's sushi quality. That's why that freshness is coming through, because we're freezing it up in Alaska, professionally. And then we pack the boxes and ship to people's doors. So it's a hands on the whole thing. And there's some people that fish, there's some people that process, and there's some middlemen that are great at marketing, but it's really rare to do all those pieces. And it's actually it's really been rewarding for us, because for fishermen, to get to that final piece of connecting with the customer and getting the feedback, like you're saying, oh, it's the best fish I've ever had. Other fishermen, they don't get to that full feedback loop. And so for us, the connection with the customers has been kind of the unexpected, really amazing part.
nice. That is so cool. So how did let's just talk about the origin story, because it's so cool. Like, what made you go, let's catch and sell seafood? Like,
Yeah. So we've been fishing for my husband's fished for 25 years. And before that, my dad fished. And so I grew up in a fishing family. My grandpa fished, my uncles fished. We're fifth generation, but actually many more back in Norway. So fishing's what we've always done. That's just how I grew up. So that part never felt, oh, wow, that's so cool. It just felt normal. But my husband, let's see. And then I got my master's degree in food science and I studied fish. And that was, again, because it was normal. And I had been on my dad's fishing boat. I fished in the summers. And for this master's thesis, I was quantifying omega-3s from fish. And he was looking for somebody that is comfortable, like going out on the boat or grabbing the fish from the boat and things like that. And so it just like fed really naturally. So I have this background in fish. And then at the time I was home with our 3 kids, and my husband was on the marketing association for Copper River salmon, which is, the best salmon in the world. And so he's on this marketing board. And so I'm home with 3 kids and not working at the time, but I'm kind of in his ear. So we're going to Thanksgiving. It's a long drive, like a 9-hour drive. And I'm kind of going like, oh, well, you should do this and you should do that. And you should market it like grass-fed beef. And you should say this and you should talk about that. And finally, he just looks at me and goes, you should.
Right.
You should market my fish. He's doing all this special handling techniques that we're doing, for the very best. And it's like, we're catching the best fish on the planet. And then he's handling it carefully. And we have literally the best fish on the planet. And he's like, you should tell everybody that and market my fish. Yeah. And so that's the hard part, just telling the story. And for us, it's so ingrained. It's such a big part of our lives. It really is what we do. But it becomes, at first it was like, how do I talk about this? How do I, we have so much to talk about. It's like, it feels like it's taken me 10 years to unroll the story.
and it kind of has, right? I mean, because what I think is incredible is that you do have the world's best fish. I mean, it's Alaskan seafood, right? And, and to be able to catch it up there is insane. I mean, I've seen, video and it's just like the water's not the most, calm, right? So it's like, like the dangerous, I'm sorry, I'm like looking at the camera and I know I see this. Okay. The curse and the blessing of curly hair.
Oh, I know about it.
Right? It's a good thing. Should I put it there? No. Anyway, so for those of you listening, this is fun. Okay, there we go. It is what it is. Okay. So, but like I've seen video of like people catching fish in Alaska and it's not, I'm like, I would probably I mean, just being on that boat would probably kill me, but just like being able to catch it, process it, freeze it right there, and then send it out is, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And to even think about that, like to even be like, hey, let's catch this fish. And then why don't we flash freeze it and then ship it to people?
Right.
I mean, it's not something that, but the fact that you were able to think about that. And I love how he was like, you do that, like, I'll catch it, you market it is so good because, I'm sure you can catch fish. I mean, you grew up with it, right? So,
right. But if we switched roles, it would not work out.
Okay. Well, there you go. So those are the things, right?
I'm pretty slow at getting the fish out of the net.
Oh, I didn't even think of that part. Did you have to catch it? You have to
oh gosh,
people don't think about this.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. I go out and fish on the boat with Rich for the opening day, and we take the kids out in the summertime, so we spend a lot of time on the boat. And there's a lot to it. Well, a big part is maintaining the boat. And I mean, each fisherman is the independent business owner and they got to maintain that boat. And maintaining a boat is a year-round project.
Sure. Especially up there, right? So do you fish? Because like I've seen ice road truckers, and so I'm like pretty, uh, not very knowledgeable about, Alaskan, how it works. But are there, like, do you fish in the winter, or do you have like a specific time of the year that you like? How does that work?
It's mostly the summer. So salmon specifically salmon is the tightest time frame, and you're really fishing on the schedule of the fish. So you fish when the fish are running, and what they mean is running upstream or spawning. So our fish are out in the ocean for 4 to 5 years, and then they return to the very river they spawned from. So that's why Copper River salmon, we know it's coming back to the Copper River. And so then when I say that, people might imagine sometimes a river with like a big net put across it. But the Copper River Delta is about 300 miles wide. And these are fingers of water and sandbars. And the fish, they come from the ocean where they've adapted to, swimming in salt water, and they're moving into freshwater, and they don't just like, boom, I'm in freshwater now. They kind of come in and they come out, and you have all these sandbars and all these channels. So they call it ocean run, where we're intercepting the fish in the ocean where they're about to spawn and go up. And the exact areas that we're allowed to catch, like say in the ocean and not in the river, and it's very regulated. So it's all regulated for sustainability, but it's regulated to the point of where we can fish and where we can't fish in exact areas, and all the way dialed into, king salmon like to run right here. And right now, this year, the king salmon numbers are low, but the sockeye is higher. So we're going to close this area and let you fish here. So it's very, very specific, but it's this huge area. So it would take us, Cordova is a small town in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads to it. You have to take a boat or fly. And then from there, it's at least 4 to 6 hours to get out to the fishing grounds. And they call it a stick channel. And I mean, people are in boats. They're small. Salmon boats are small, like 1 or 2 guys. But navigationally, it's all sandbars, and there's just this channel of water that's deep enough, and there's sticks to kind of tell you where you are, and they're using their navs. They're also laying down pans for them to follow later, or following some other boat that they think knows the way really well, or they'll follow the same type of boat. So then there's different types of boats that draw different water, but sometimes you'll find yourself in 1 foot, 2 foot of water in different places. So it's very challenging ground to catch fish for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. That's just so amazing. So the business aspect of it. So because you're an entrepreneur. I mean, you're a very successful entrepreneur. So like when you thought of starting the business, like how did the whole, because there's so many logistics. I mean, it's not just selling a product. It's, selling the product, promoting the product, getting all the labeling and all the other, there's so many pieces. Like people, I don't think understand food. It's a lot different than a marketing agency or, like a business coach. So explain like the, some of the business aspect of it, because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And selling online is really interesting. So when we started, we created a website. We were like completely naive. We'd never sold anything online ever. So we went to somebody and we created a website, and then we were like, yay, we toasted champagne, the site is up, and it's like crickets. I mean, you don't just build a site and then they come. Sorry, that's not, that's the easy part. And so,
that louder for the people in the back, please. They don't. Some people do.
The job's not over when you build your website.
Thank you. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
And so learning that piece was definitely, it's like fish. We know fish. We know we have the best fish. That part is done. It was really that online marketing piece, and we just figured it out as we went along. And what I think really helped is, for one thing, the plan was to do sell it online and real quick. Like I say, we built the website, woo, and then some friends and family purchased, great. We have all this fish. And Rich was like, I heard about these local farmers markets. I think you better get out there and start selling some fish. And so we started doing farmers markets, which is in-person selling.
Sure.
And really, that really helped our online business, because the in-person selling, I mean, when you're talking about the fish for 8 hours with customer after customer, they're just standing in a line to talk to you, your talking points really dial in. And so that actually helped us, I think, more than anything else would have. And we wouldn't have realized that would have helped us. But because of that, everybody over and over, well, how do you cook the fish? If I tell them our background and how long we've been, in a fishing family, they want to know not just how to cook fish, but how I cook the fish. And so one of the, first things I did was created a PDF, with some recipes on how we cook the fish, and we started an email list, not because I had any idea that an email list was a good thing to do, but, somebody told me to do it and I didn't even know what they were. I didn't even know about lists. I didn't know the names and what, I didn't realize that I was, nowadays I'm so much more aware of that. I understand I'm on people's lists. I read their emails, but I wasn't even on anybody else's lists. I wasn't getting that type of marketing. So I didn't even know what that was, but luckily we set it up when we set up the website. And then I did that, recipe PDF. So that was our opt-in. I mean, we didn't even know the words to use, but we were kind of going through these steps. And so understanding what people's first questions were, when we were doing the in-person marketing, really helped us then answer those questions online, I think.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, I get your newsletter, so I get the recipes and I get the Monday, like all the different things. And they're done really well.
Thank you.
They're not like annoying. There's a lot of, I'll get emails from people and it's like unsubscribe, but your stuff is good. So so were you selling frozen fish? Like, did you have like bags of like dry ice and you're like, here's like, wow.
Yeah.
And farmers market, that's amazing.
And we still sell out our local one. And during COVID, at the time of COVID, we were doing I had people working, for me by then. And so we were doing a dozen farmers markets a week, which is a lot. And it's really hard work. I mean, you're schlepping around. I have people that run them, but I have to keep them full of fish. You have freezers and coolers and, the stand and the whole get up. And then I was doing markets every weekend, just doing the fill in on ones where people couldn't make it, I'm over in West Seattle this weekend because, my person can't make that one. And then I'm over here and then I'm over here and I'm schlepping the kids around, and it was work. So I was already kind of going, we were 4 or 5 years in and I was like, I'm so ready to not be doing these in-person markets anymore. And when COVID hit, I was able to just flip-flop it. We immediately had to shut down the in-person markets. And I was like, I was not sad about that because doing so many is so much work. And then immediately online, our sales quadrupled. Just from people searching. I mean, just from people finding us, finally the magic happened. And a lot of people were then figuring out shipping. And thankfully we knew what we were doing on shipping. And so in terms of getting frozen fish there, so that switch really made a big difference for us, the COVID. We kind of hit the timing right.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with, online business, like my business took off during, towards the end of COVID. It was just like nuts because I was in a partnership, but, I started getting like national clients and then international clients. It was like, holy crap. I'm like, this is insane. And I never in a million years expected it before you do with food. It was like perfect.
Yeah.
People didn't, a lot of restaurants failed and people didn't realize, I don't think they realized the impact that it was going to have. And I all of my stuff online. Like we have 2 local markets and two local restaurants, but one was a restaurant that, and I still think they're brilliant for it. So it's Bistro 501, and I tell their story all the time because what they did was the food that they would normally cook, they sold. So they sold steak and they sold all the things, right?
Like as ingredients?
And then all the ingredients, the lettuce
Oh.
and the tomato and the fresh, all the fresh vegetables and like all the things. And if you want a chicken salad, they would make the chicken because they have really good chicken salad, and they would make it and put it in the a container and sell it. But what they did with each delivery was they included a roll of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, which was they're just so freaking smart. They thrived, and then they opened. And then a couple of my, because a few of my friends own restaurants, right? So each of my friends that opened their restaurants during COVID, you knew they were clean. Like I would go in there because I knew I knew them, but B, you knew like they were wiping down the menus. They were covered. The menus were covered in plastic, and the tables were set. Real, like it was a real thing. And then we have a local market, who's also a client of mine, but he's a meat guy, and he was doing deliveries, and so the whole food thing, but fresh fish from Alaska,
right?
Yeah, like I wish I would have known about that, because I would have been on that. I just would have been like, yes, because the options were what they were,
right? Yeah.
But man, and timing is just everything. Okay, so COVID came. And you guys took off, and was it like almost like a holy crap?
Oh yeah, because I can't hire help, and I have kids.
Oh God, that's right.
And so Rich took our son, who was middle school age, up to Alaska, and it was really quickly like get in your place, And so we found out school was shutting down. So our son went up to Alaska with Rich, and he ended up being up there all summer. He finished school online in Alaska, and so Rich was up there, and he couldn't come home because he wasn't. They basically, you are where you are.
Right.
And so he was up there the whole time. And then I had our 2 younger daughters. And so it was a madhouse, trying to, them doing the school. I mean, for everybody, it was, it was a different scenario, but it was like, oh yeah, my business just quadrupled and I have to get in there and ship. I'm not just, my business isn't just, digital products or something. And so I'm shipping, and they helped ship, and they did a lot of school and it was a little bit weird, but we got through it. And, thankfully, but I was glad that we had a lot of the kind of curveball learning aspects out of the way. So we could just kind of put our heads down and, just get to work and just get it done.
And think of the work ethic for the kids. Right. Seeing that, hey, there's this business and we have to do this thing and we have to get this stuff out. And I know it sucks for you, but as when they grow up, it's going to be like, yeah, I remember my mom, and we were in the warehouse. We had to get the fish out. It's going to be a great story. Right. I mean, you think
yeah. And we have the jars, and they label the jars, and
I mean, I think it's so, I don't think people, so one of my, clients has a podcast, and it's called History for Fuck's Sake, and she's British. Well, actually, she's Canadian living in France, and her business is in Britain.
Oh wow!
So yeah, and she's a trip. She's just something else. But one of the things that she said that's really interesting to me is, every day we're making history. So yesterday, whatever we did yesterday, that's our history. We already did that, right? And so the history that your kids are going to have, I think that's amazing. I look at things.
Yeah. And they are in every aspect of it. And so they've been on the boat and fished. They've worked in the processing facility, and, they get the hairnet on and the gloves and and all that. And they've come to the farmer's market and they did a lot of time selling. And then, that kind of back end on packing the boxes and things like that. And so they've really done it all. And what's funny is they're quite entrepreneurial.
Well,
you grow up with that
background. For example, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, their parents were entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So
they have these little stories. They used to go around. We have a rural cabin, but up on the big weekends, like Memorial Weekend, everybody comes up, right? So everybody's camping, and the kids they'd find rocks, they'd paint the rocks, and then they go around with their wagon and sell these painted rocks. Well, then they discovered, like, if they would walk around like on Saturday night or evening-ish, they could sell a lot more painted rocks. I mean, they were selling painted rocks faster than they could paint them. They were like selling unpainted rocks.
Wow.
And then they were like, oh, this is, and they'd sell origami, things like that. They're, we're just killing it. And then they go around Sunday morning and they're like, we didn't make any money Sunday morning. Nobody's interested.
Around Sunday morning. I mean, they're recovering from Saturday night. They're recovering from spending all the money with you Saturday night because they're like, here you go. Here's the money.
So it's pretty funny. But they my daughter used to sell. I don't know. She would make origami out of candy wrappers and sell it to kids at school.
I mean, hey, you know what? I mean, you have it or you don't. I mean, I think I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and there was this, I guess their friend wanted to be an entrepreneur. He was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't know what I want to do, but I know that I want to have my own business. And it's like, no, that's not the way to do it. But he was really hell-bent. And I guess he tried it like a couple of years ago. And he didn't even do market research. He was just like, I'm just going to do this. And it's like, it kind of doesn't, like, there has to be a need for whatever you're going to do. So anyway, Long story short, he's working for corporate again, but it was one of those things where he was like hell bent on doing it. And then I think he was doing it and he was like, yeah, I'm going, like, it just it's either in you or it's not, right? Like you either,
it's a lot of work. And the thing is, I mean, it has to be kind of passion driven because otherwise you just wouldn't. It's just too hard.
I mean, it's so true. Like, I look at my business and gosh, there were a couple of times where it's like, this is hard. Finding the right people is hard, and it was like getting the right asses in the right seats. And like, that's hard. It's, then you find them and then something happens and then they don't work out, or it's too much and they can't handle it, or they don't tell you that it's too much and then they burn out. And it's like, there's like so many challenges that people don't think about. And when I first started this, I laughed because it was literally, we built a website, we did SEO, people paid us, I paid the person, and that was it. It was done. And now it's like, I have my director of operations, I have this, I have that, I have that, I have that. And then it's like, we have this, there's like, below the line expenses, above the line expense, like all this stuff. And I was like, no, like this is not, I shouldn't math. I'll give you an example. Like, I'll just make up a number, like $18,000. Somebody's going to pay me $18,000. And I was like, ooh, write me a check because they're going to take like $3,000, in fees out.
Right.
No, it's be 300 in fee, right? So I tell my accountant, I'm like, oh my God, it's like 18,000. I told them to, pay me in check. And she's like, I mean, I get it, $300 is a lot. And I went, no, it's 3,000. She goes, don't math. You should not be mathing.
Not your
It's like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be mathing. But it was just so funny because you don't think about these things, right? And then it's like, okay, so the things that I'm really good at, I am great at. I'm great at the people thing. I'm great at the strategy thing. I'm great at the figuring things out. I suck at math. So we're going to have somebody else, do math. Can I manage my team? 100%. Do I want to? No, because then I can't do the other things.
Right. Yeah. That's the hard part is like, I started and we were bootstrapping. So the way I learn to do anything is, okay, well, then I'm going to learn how to do that.
Right.
Okay, if we need this done, then I'm going to go figure it out. And I actually really like that. And now we're 10 years in, and I have not allowed to take any more courses. I cannot learn. I have a rule. I can't do it that way anymore. I
Right.
can't go learn the thing if it needs to be done. Just like, when we were on our pre-call, you found an SEO issue with our website, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to go take a course on SEO and go figure out SEO. That might have been what I would have done, 7 years ago. But now I have to just hire somebody that knows how to do that. And that switch has been hard for me. I am kind of a independent bootstrap kind of way of thinking. And that's how we've done our entire business, and that's how we've done everything. So switching over to, hiring the professional is better money spent than because I don't have any more time to learn any more new stuff.
I think we all go through that, because like for me, it was like, I could learn all the things and do all the things, which I did in the beginning. Except build websites, because it would take like 5 years. But all the other things, like I know how to do SEO, I know, all of that stuff. But for me, it's like, if my zone of genius is in the strategy piece, it's in the relationship piece, it's building the relationships with people, because it's never transactional for me. And that's really important to me, that people, that, but like for people that are thinking of working, it's not transactional for me. It's like, I want to make sure if I can't help you, I'm not going to work with you. Like I can't do, I have to sleep at night. And a lot of people will just be like, oh yeah, we can do it. And they can't. And I can't, but that's not me. So it was like, okay. So rather than hiring all the people, it's like, I'll work with these contractors. And then this way, I can do all the things. I can help, all of the people that need the things, because I have the website person, and I have the SEO person, and I have, the social media person. I have the video production person. I have the podcast production person, so it's like I have all of these things that I can pull from. And then for me, it becomes like, you saw Queen's Gambit? I think we had this conversation.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that one.
In bed and all this. This is me with my ADHD, right? I'm going, okay, so it's like Tetris for me. It's like, this goes here, and then this piece here. So I'm going to put her with her, and I'm going to put this with this, and then the whole project's going to be great. And then, there's one point of contact, because people hire all these contractors and nobody speaks to it. So nobody knows what's going on, because the contractors don't speak to each other. Yeah, so that's the beauty of what I do. But figuring that out took me like 8 years. It was like, oh, shit, if I do it this way, duh. Like I could have been doing this for 8 years, but I was doing all the things. And now it's like you, right? It's like, okay, so you hired us for SEO and good thing that you did, because I told you it's changing constantly. It's like every day it's freaking changing. It's stupid how fast it's changing. And it's not, they're like SEO is dead. It's more generative engine. I call it like GEO. I did a video on LinkedIn about it, and I don't think I did it, but it was like, first was SEO, then it was like, AEO and AIO and GEO, and then I'm like, EIO. It's like freaking old McDonald. Like, what is it going to be called next, right? But at the end of the day, it's changing. And I just got an email today that, you're going to actually be able to place the order from whatever AI platform you're in. Right. So your site's going to come up, and you're going to be able to click on Sena and go into the thing and buy the thing. It's nuts. It's just like, it's insane. And it's exciting for me, because I'm like such a nerd, and I'm going, ooh, this is like so cool. But my clients are freaking out. I'm like, how are we still number one? How are you doing it? And I'm like, because, you do roofs. I'm not going to get on my roof and try to fix my roof. Right. That's what you're there for. And this is what I'm here for. So you fix my roof, and I'm going to do you know what I mean? And, right. But it's like, I will wake up at 3:00 in the morning sometimes, because it's on my mind so much. And I'll be like, shit, what just, has something changed? And I will go on and I will look to see if something changed. And probably maybe 4 out of 10 times, something changed. And it's like,
so crazy.
it's 3:00 in the freaking morning. I mean, it's stupid, And then my wife is,
See, that's why I'm glad I'm not doing it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Or I'll be up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to binge a couple of things. And then at like 4 a.m., I'm going to see if something changed. And then she wakes up at like 5:30 and she's like, have you gone to bed yet? And I'm like, no, something changed. I have to email the team at 7. And, and I don't sleep sometimes because everything is changing so fast. And it's, people are scared because they're waiting for like, the Terminator to happen. And that's not going to happen. I don't, not in our lifetime, not that it'll ever happen, but I don't think in our lifetime it will. But I do think that, and I just did a keynote on this with my friend Mel in Charleston last week. And it was, using AI ethically. So
right.
Yes, everything is changing. So SEO is changing and people are using AI, but, you can't write a book with AI and people are trying to do that. You can't write newsletter articles with AI. You can't, it's not.
And it gets stuff wrong. I mean, we were having one season where the fish just were late. The season is late and we are waiting for the fish and everybody wants to know where the fish and why. And just for fun, I asked AI, to write a blog post about why the fish is late this year. And it wrote a beautiful blog post about why Copper River salmon is late. And I was like, that's amazing. However, I know because we're talking to the biologists on the river, I know that we don't really know. I know this sounds really good, but I know it's pulled from all the other years that it was late and why it was, which is great. But you have to understand where this information is coming from. It's not necessarily the truth. It's just what has been said before. So that's, hard part about it. I think you have to have that, okay, those are great words, but are they true?
I think that it is an amazing, and it shouldn't be a replacement. It should be an enhancement. It should be, it's a tool. It's not the replacement for it. And so I'll write like, this is so funny. So my grammar sucks. I can speak beautiful English, but when it comes to like writing an email, where does do I use the Oxford comma? Because I love the Oxford comma, right? Where do I use the semicolon? So I will write an email and I will drop it in chat and say, can you please fix my grammar? Because I suck. I call her Cara. I named her. It's lonely when you work in the office alone, So I'm like, hey, Cara, what do you? I'm kidding.
Can you make this better?
But I named her Cara, and I'll just be like, okay, Cara, what's this? Like, what am I doing, here? And so she'll just like not rewrite it, but she'll write it where the comma, and it's like no M dashes. For the love of God, please don't use. Because AI loves M dashes, so. She takes the M dashes out and does all the thing. And it's my words. It's what I wrote. It's just cleaned up.
Right.
So then I drop it and I send it. But then another thing I'll do is proposals. It's amazing for proposals, right? I'll be like, here's a proposal that I wrote for someone in, I don't know, like September. This is a new company. They're getting a few things different. So here's the things that are getting differently. Could you just lay it out for me so I can just drop it in? And it saves me hours. Hours.
Yeah. And then from there, you could tinker and make the changes and stuff like that.
It's just my word.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll just say, so they're not doing like a full boat. They're doing, the SEO, web and video, not the whole, whatever we offer. So, and it knows my prices. It knows my whole thing. So I'll be like, so can you just write it for this? This is the name of the company. This is what they do, and then I take like their, about, and I drop it in and like, this is who we're dealing with. And then it just kind of takes the original thing that I wrote and it just makes it a little bit more personal. And it's it literally saves me tons of time.
That's
And that's what
amazing.
you're supposed to use it for. You're not supposed to use it for, hey, write me a proposal,
Right.
or
Yeah.
or figure, and sometimes I'll brainstorm. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
stuck on a marketing thing. I'll be like, man, I'm thinking about doing this, but something's not sitting right. Or here's the entire timeline or the entire roadmap that I've left out. I feel like there's something missing, and it'll go through it and say, this is what you're missing. So
Wow, that's nice.
yeah. And so I'll be like, oh, thank you. So that's what I mean. It's not, it's a tool. And if people use it, can you hear that? Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
You are not allowed on the podcast today, sweetheart. Sorry. Thank you. But yeah, so if people use it for I think what it was meant to be, I think it's going to be amazing. But it's just, you can't be lazy. You can't just say, hey, do the thing for me.
Yeah. And it does break some barriers. I mean, it makes it easier, but you still have to kind of step through and take the steps and know what you're writing about. I mean, it makes each step easier, but I think you still have to. I heard one person saying, which is very true, was, yeah, it gets you down the road faster, but you better make sure you're on the right road. Like yeah. you could create a lot of marketing material, but if you're like, you don't have your, perfect avatar set up, you're not talking to the right person. Like you can get like further faster, but you might be going in the wrong direction even faster. Because I did notice, I use it for this and that, and it's, oh, what a great idea. Yeah, that's so great. Oh, wow, it just makes me feel so great. But maybe it's just saying all my ideas are great.
Well, and it's funny because so I have her trained that I'm like, don't blow smoke up my ass. Don't tell me how great something is if it's not, because, I already know. I'm putting it in there because I know that it's not great. So, because it'll be like, I think when I first started, it was like, oh, that is so smart. And see, you're just so smart and you're this. And I'm like, no, cut the crap.
I don't need you to make me feel better.
Right. I don't need you to make me feel good about myself. I need you to fix the damn sentence. So just fix the damn sentence or whatever it is, And she's like, oh, like she'll be like, oh, okay, you got me. I'll make a note not to blow smoke up your ass. I mean, literally, I have her cursing at me at times. I'll be like, okay, you can tell me to stuff, and I'll drop the F-bomb.
That's funny.
And so, she'll do that. And, my wife came in here, I was doing something and I was like, oh my God, stop effing, doing that. And it replied, it was like, I'll stop effing doing that, What did you do to that? It's fun. But with what you do, like it could do amazing things for you. I mean,
yeah.
you have your newsletter, so you put that out, but just as far as oh my God, there's just so many things.
It just helps get stuff out the door. I mean, when I first started writing for my newsletter, I write a lot of story based and I'm really trying to kind of pull back the curtain and let people into a fishing family. So I write about a lot of different topics. And when I first started, before AI, I would send my emails to a friend and she would edit them. And so I used to, when I sat down, and you have that blank screen and you're like, I don't know if this is going to be good or what should I write about? You kind of get stuck in your head. I would think, I'm just going to write a really crappy first draft. It's going to be horrible. And I'll just send it to my friend Maggie and she'll fix it for me. And so that mindset of, I'm just going to sit down and just like get my thoughts on the paper and I'll fix it later. Mm-hmm. I think that's where AI can help a lot now, because just get something down. I mean, AI isn't AI doesn't know my, what's going on day to day. And it takes me to understand what I want to write about and what's the thing, but you can write that kind of crappy first draft and, get some help on making it better, which is really nice. So that it does help get you off the ground, so you're not looking at that blank cursor.
Yeah, and I think people can use it to, help run their business. I mean, if you, like Bookwise, right? I think you could drop your books in there and it can do your books for you. I think there's a way that, I mean, I don't do that because I have a bookkeeper, but there's just certain things that it knows how to do because it's done it before. You know, I use it mainly for like writing stuff, cleaning up what I'm writing. I know people that use it to help them with their books, help them with their, oh gosh, what was, one of the things, because I was fascinated. I was like, oh, I didn't know it could do that. It laid out, I remember. So my friend was starting a business and we were having a conversation about, the people that they're going to need in the beginning. I said, ask chat. Like, here's what I'm telling you, but just ask chat, who are the people that I need in the beginning of starting a new business? And it spit it out.
Wow.
That's amazing. Incredible. I mean, it's crazy, so it is a tool and it can do a lot of amazing things. It fascinates me. I mean, it also gets, I can go down a little political rabbit hole with it. I think I did that oh God, like over the summer. She had a migraine. It was a Saturday night and I'm like, okay, I'm bored. How deep can we get? And how deep do you want to go? I was like, okay. And I just started throwing all this political crap. And it was really interesting because she was pulling from current events. And, part of me was like, am I going to have to leave the country? I mean, I'm married to a woman and people are, losing their minds over that. And she was like, no, and I was like, but you can't guarantee that. Well, no, I can't guarantee it, but I don't see it, going that way. And I mean, wow. Almost like 3.5 hours. I'm like,
wow.
I know. And I looked at the rabbit hole like a few weeks ago and like, it was pretty accurate. I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. And then, and then the whole thing with, on Monday, the Supreme Court reheard the thing, the ban on same-sex marriage, and Kim, whatever her name was, they denied even listening to it, and she has to pay $360,000 in damages. So that made me feel good. That made me feel like, okay, there's at least a little bit of hope. Because I really thought I was going to have to leave the country.
Wow. Oh, well, I guess your AI was right.
Can you imagine? It was just like, okay, this was interesting. And then, the next day, because I think I probably got to bed like 3-4 o'clock. She wakes up Saturday and makes breakfast and stuff. And she's like, what time did you get to bed last night? I was like, I don't know. She goes, what did you do? And I was like, I wasn't binging. I was talking to Cara about, social events. And she was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. Just like, I mean, okay. And so one of the things that I noticed on the website that I'm going to be ordering, although my wife and I had a conversation last night and she's like, we have so many dog treats. I'm like, but these are natural. This is like, it's real salmon. So talk about that for a minute.
The dog treats are super fun. That's a new product that, we were just able to come out with because we run our own processing facility. And so we can have ideas like that. And it came kind of naturally. In fact, I had talking to 2 different people in the same week and they both mentioned dog treats. And so it kind of clicked to me when I realized, I've been thinking about dog treats a lot because here, salmon is great for dogs. And we have a lot of salmon, but I'm thinking it needs to get dehydrated somehow. And there's this complexity. And then somebody just said, no, you just need to cut it into small pieces for the dogs. And I was just like, oh my goodness. So I talked to Rich, and this is one of the fun things. He loves to iterate. He loves to try new things. He just goes, yes. And he walks down to the floor and just talks to his guys. Okay, what can we do? Let's try this. Let's cut it like this. And he's very hands-on that way and loves to just try something new. So they just took some fish, cut it into like 1-inch little strip pieces with the skin on, and then they individually froze it. And then they're just packed it into a 2-pound resealable bag and with a light vacuum seal on it. So it's loose in the bag. They're frozen and they're just pure salmon. That's what I love about it. There's nothing added. And it's the same.
Give the dogs the skin?
Yeah. Yeah. You can give them the skin and they can eat it raw because it's frozen to sushi quality. So it's the same fish as, we're just selling for people. I mean, everything we do is food safe for human consumption. But this is like the small pieces that wouldn't work for what we're doing, or, kind of the waste and the small funky pieces that we're just able to chop up for the dogs. So the dogs get this premium quality meat, frozen to sushi quality. They can eat it raw. They can eat the skin. It's great for their coats and their healthy omega-3s, just like us. So that's been really fun to just kind of get out there and see how people like it and try something new.
So how does it work? It comes frozen. And let's say I wanted to give Piper and Skylar like one a day or something. Mm-hmm. I take 2 out, let them defrost, and then put the rest, like keep the rest frozen, or do you?
Yeah. So you would just have this, it's a 2-pound bag resealable. So you would keep it in the freezer, pull it out of the freezer and just reach in and grab a couple pieces out. And then I would probably just set those like on a plate in the fridge and let them defrost a bit. Or you could set them on the counter until they're defrost and then just put it in their bowls.
Wow. Okay.
You could sort of top it on their food or whatever.
Or just be like, hey, you were so good. You listened to me. Get your ass in here. Because Piper, like Skylar will come when I call her, and Piper is like, this is my domain. I'll come when I want. And it's like, now it's 2:00 in the morning or something. We're trying to get her back in and she starts barking because there's a raccoon in the back or, whatever. And it's like, oh my God. So if I can use that, right. Look at this. This is the salmon. And then she'll just like come flying. I'm going to let you know because I'm going to try that.
Yeah, definitely do. I just love it because there's absolutely nothing added. So it's the healthiest thing they could eat.
Yeah. Well, your fish is the healthiest thing anybody can eat, so right. Including me, which is why I love it. And I'm going to be getting crab. That's another story. This time of year, like, what do you focus on? And I know that you started a new product around Christmas time with the tins. So I want to talk about that. But then, what you do, around this time of year. I feel like we need to have like another podcast just to get into all of the things, because we could talk for like hours because there's so much that you offer and that you do. And it's fascinating to me.
Oh, I know. I never thought I could talk about fish for so long, for so many years. I send an email to my list every Monday, and it's like for 10 years. Yeah, I can still talk about fish. I still have more to talk about.
I just got another one. So it's like, yeah. And your emails are like the only non-annoying emails that I get. I'm like,
oh, good. I like that. That's cool. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So we have smoked salmon tins, which are really fun that we're launching in December. And we're launching for Christmas because they're a great gift, but we're going to be selling them all year round. And we're super excited about just jumping on kind of this smoked tin, kind of trend, but it's more than a trend because it's like we talked about, the best food you could be eating. And it just is an easy way to eat it. So it's smoked salmon, cooked, ready to eat in a little pop top tin. You can just pop the top off and eat it right out of the tin, or put it on your salad or make an hors d'oeuvre. So that I'm super excited about because we want
cream cheese. Just saying.
Yes. Yes. And it's easy. And we want to make eating fish easy for people and take that kind of, meet people where they are and make it simple. So that's kind of brings me to our January. In January, we're talking a lot about healthy recipes, but also just how to cook fish, give it a try, helping people with the confidence around adding fish to their diet, start with once a week, you get that down, go for 2 a week, just really meeting people where they are and trying to give them all the information they need. So we'll be putting out a lot of, recipes, how-tos, and things like that. And we're always, my kind of big spiel is around the subscription boxes, because basically It's not rocket science. If you have really good fish on hand in your freezer ready to eat,
It's a no-brainer.
You will eat more of it.
It's true. I eat it weekly now, and sometimes I eat it twice a week. Heather will be like, what do you want for dinner? She's like, I'm having cereal. I'm like, great, I'm making fish. Because
Right.
I can. Because literally you just throw it in the bowl, cold water, half hour, however long, half hour as long as it's, and then you just cook it, and it's perfect. It's just like perfect every time. It's crazy.
And it's easy. And that's what I end up eating. Well, I eat fish a lot anyways, but when I'm kind of rushed and I don't have a plan, and oh my goodness, it's like, I can't take some meat out of the freezer. I don't have time. I'm just going to pull some fish out really quick and make it real fast. So we're just helping people get behind that and give it a shot and give it a try.
Yeah. And you have different types of subscription boxes. I think I was going to do the monthly, and then I was like, no, I'm going to do 3 months at a time. More cost effective, number one. Number two, you get a lot of fish, so you have it for a while.
A lot of choice.
Which is amazing. And I'm going to be ordering the Dungeness crab.
I'm totally
getting that.
That's really good.
I'm going to order a couple of tins of the stuff. But anyway, I'm going to just go down a rabbit hole. So, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to, explain everything. I think what you do is just so cool. And the one thing I did want to talk about was the sustainability, because a lot of people don't understand, and I didn't until you and I spoke about it, that when you're taking the fish, you're not killing the population, you're actually adding to the population. So can you explain that piece? Because to me, I think that's fascinating.
The sustainability piece is really huge, especially around wild salmon, and people, want to do the right thing. I mean, people don't want to eat the last wild salmon or eat wild salmon if it's going to harm the population. And, from my standpoint, it's an interesting topic because it's so easily kind of spun, I think by farmed fish and things like that. They say sort of like, take the pressure off the wild and eat farmed, but farmed fish has way more problems, and it's actually often done in rivers and can harm the original wild stocks in the river with, fish lice and stuff like that, and the antibiotics. And so it's a whole problem on itself, but it's actually, if you look at places where they farm fish, usually the wild stocks are no longer or very weak. And so, one of the great things about Alaska is they don't allow farm, and sustainability is in the Constitution. So, we fish in a way where we're first allowing, the stocks for next year and then fishing off the abundance.
Wow. See, and that's so cool. I think that's like the coolest thing ever.
And so that way, because fishing families, they want to continue fishing. This is their legacy, their heritage. A lot of fishing families are multi-generational like we are. They want to continue doing it. And, it's done in a way that we can continue doing it. So I kind of flip it on its head, and I like to say, invest in wild fish and eat wild to save wild. So that investment in that wild fish, it's healthier for you and it's healthier for the fish. And sometimes it costs a little bit more, but that's an investment in the entire system that keeps the rivers, and the waterways pure and clean for the salmon's return.
Right. Which is, I just think it's absolutely, I just think it's wonderful what you all do. So I'm going to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day. For myself and my audience. And where can people find, senasea.com, and that's SENASEA.com. And you're just going to find amazing varieties of fish and amazing varieties of it's just, I get I go down a rabbit hole, and I have a subscription already. I go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, what can I buy? Because I just love the fact that I'm in landlocked Indiana, and I get to eat fresh fish again. That just
right.
it's like the best thing ever. Yeah. So the last question that I ask all my guests is,
oh boy,
what lights your fire?
Oh, wow. I like that. That's fun. I think we touched on this a little bit, but just in the business realm for us, it's all about this connection with customers. And so it's just something that we didn't expect. But the way we sell fish direct online, I mean, you would think, oh, an online business, very not touchy feely. You don't even know these people, but I have these email relationships with people, and we have these long-term customers who send me recipes, and I know who plants a ton of tomatoes, and they send recipes with their homegrown tomatoes and things like that. But this customer connection and customer feedback, not very, very few fishermen get to have that direct feedback from their customers saying that they love the fish. And Rich and I found that lights our fire. I mean, that gives us a real reason to keep going and keep the quality really high, and feel like we're bringing something straight to people that really care.
Wow. I love that so much. And it shows. I mean, it literally shows in your product, through your emails. You can tell it's very relational. That's how my business is. It's very, it's not transactional. It's just based on the relationship. And you can tell that, that's what you guys do too. Thank you so much for being on. I'm going to say goodbye and I'll be right back. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out an hour plus. I know this definitely went over an hour. But oh my God, go to senac.com. If you want you guys know I don't sell stuff on here ever. I am telling you, I tried other, I'm not going to say the companies, but I tried other wild Alaskan caught seafood, and no, this is the real deal. I mean, I defrost it in a half hour in the water, and the fact that I get to eat seafood every week is just the best thing ever. So I know I'm digressing, but it's just so good. So I hope you found this as valuable as I do, and I hope that you go to senac.com and get some of that fish. And don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what you thought about this episode. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in, watching, listening. I get to continue to do this, and I love to do this. Y'all know this is my passion project. So until next time, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.